Hey, I hope everyone had an awesome Halloween. I'm recording this right after Halloween weekend if you're watching the replay. I wanted to hop on today to talk about enjoying life now, in the present moment. How are you showing up and being present and mindful? It is so common for us to get stuck in worry mode, planning mode, preparation mode. It's it's instinctual. It's a survival mechanism, right? Like obviously we have to plan where we're getting our next meal from. We got to plan what do we got to get done tomorrow. But at the end of the day, planning needs to have a time and a place, and we can't always operate from that mode. When we're constantly operating from what do I got to do next? What's the next plan? Okay, what do I got to get ready for this weekend? What do I got to do tomorrow for the kids? What do I got to do at work tomorrow? You can see where I'm going with this. When we're constantly operating from that mode, we are just kicking in stress and overwhelm into overdrive. And to be honest, soon that phase just starts to feel like our normal. Like we just think we're hustling, go, 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 and we just sort of forget to enjoy the present moment and the present life. So I want to share two examples with you today about how I got stuck in this mode that I noticed in the last week. Because again, like I'm not above getting stuck in these modes, but what's really helpful is I can recognize when I'm starting to get there and also like work and figure out how to get myself out of there. So I want to give you two examples and a couple tips. I want you to leave here feeling like you have some tangible tips on how can you notice when you're in this mode and how can you get out of it. So for example, this time of year gets a little bit crazy. And so going into November, we have some like a deer hunting event where we do like a potluck back home this next weekend. After that, there's the following weekend, we have a mini birthday party for my nephew. And then after that, it's like Thanksgiving number one. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, 3 weekends in a row where we're doing stuff and we got to be on the road, and I won't have the same amount of time as I usually do to get groceries done, do laundry, kind of tidy up the house, just catch up on things because we have something going on. So one, I kind of noticed I was already getting into this like kind of pre-plan and prep mode, but I was also trying to queue up. I have a toddler, and so I'm trying to queue him up to also prepare him for the upcoming weekends. It's going to be out of his routine that we won't be home as much and we'll be on the road a little bit more. And he doesn't per se love being in the car. And so think about how are you framing things for your kids? Because how they see us cope and deal with kind of stress, chaos, and shifts matters. They pick up on those same energies. They pick up on when we're feeling more anxious and frazzled. And I'm not saying that, you can't be anxious and frazzled. But I am saying we should be cognizant of it because that energy does carry over to our kids. So I was driving him home one day and I was like, okay, I'm going to kind of just start prepping him that we're going to have these upcoming things. And I could have framed it in a couple of ways. I could have said, we have all this stuff coming up this weekend. We're going to be on the road more. I know that stinks, buddy. Like, we're going to be doing this, this, and this, and I just want to prepare you. I mean, whatever. I could have kind of came at it from that angle of it's going to be stressful, etc. But instead, I was like, okay, no. Hey, we got some big fun events coming up. There's some special things where we're going to get to see special people in our lives. We're going to get to see Grandma and Grandpa. And I'm so excited. We have these couple things coming up, and I just want to give you a heads up. We're going to be on the road. So I changed my tone of voice. I changed my attitude. I changed how I framed it. Not only does that tee him up for a better experience with some kind of shift in our routines, it also honestly made a huge difference in myself. I realized I'd kind of been dreading these busy weekends that are upcoming in our lives. But when I sort of, faked a good attitude, put on a positive mentality, and I kind of shifted myself, I realized, I was kind of getting excited for these upcoming things that we have going on. And I realized, I can either not look forward to them, dread them, and just send myself into this whole stress, overwhelm cascade, or I can shift my mindset. So one, like how we show up and present things to our kids can also help shift ourselves. So that's kind of tip number one. And also just notice how you frame things to your kids, to whoever, because it makes a difference in us. The next example that I want to bring up is like this last weekend on Thursday. I was laying in bed and I was literally thinking about how I had a busier weekend coming up. So this last weekend for us was a little bit busier. We had set things going on. It was going to be fine, but I realized Thursday night what started out as me just sort of laying in bed rehearsing, what do I got to do? Where do I got to be when? Okay, how much time will I have for this? I realized before I know it, I was like stuck there. And I was like starting to dread the weekend. I could feel it in my stomach. It was like starting to not be super happy. And my mind was spinning, so I wasn't really falling asleep. And I was just like, whoa, wait a second here. Like, the weekend's going to be fine. I had built in some rest time. I had built in some breaks. So a couple things. I want you to remember that worry has a function. There's a reason we like worry and plan and prep. It's survival. Like I do need to worry about when am I gonna, when's the next thing gonna happen, so that I can be prepared. So worry has a function, but worry also needs to be like timed, and we need to cap it. And that's what we fall out of in this day and age. We don't cap our worry. We worry and worry and worry, and we don't really get to that like, okay, let's plan, prep, let's do that brain dump, and let's move on. That's the stage that we often forget. So I want you to think about how the next time you're worrying, how can you stop the worry loop? It doesn't help you to stay there. So what did I do when I was like stuck up on Thursday night? I had to get up. I had to write out my weekend to make sure, I did know where I needed to be when. I just had to do that brain dump. And then I started to kind of then purposefully work on doing some meditation in bed. I threw in some relaxing music so that I could actually fall asleep. And then this last weekend, when we were busier and we did have different things that we had to go to, I had to intentionally remind myself to shift and be present in whatever it was that I was doing, because we had some fun stuff going on, and not to worry about the next thing that I had on my schedule. I was present when I was able to book a styling consult with one of my good friends, and she's a marketing consult, Alicia Goodson. And so we had a ton of fun Saturday afternoon. I tried to be as present as possible during that. We had a couple hours together. She helped me pick up some neat pieces. And then I kind of had to shift, and then we had to go, and we went to the Rochester on Tap event this weekend. So that was fun. And I got, I got like a 15, 20-minute conversation with my husband where we could just reconnect, and it was so fun. And obviously we were with some other friends, so we were connecting with them as well. But again, think about how many times do you get to a weekend where you maybe have some fun things planned, but it is a little bit more busy, and you're like not even enjoying it. You're not even enjoying it because you're worried about the next moment. So I just want you to notice when that happens and try to bring yourself back to the present moment and really enjoy it. And then also just notice, is this kind of your MO? Like, do you get stuck in worry, plan, and prep mode that you have a hard time shifting into being mode? If so, feel free to hop to the link in my bio. I am doing 30-minute holiday coaching sessions right now. You can book that for in-person or online, and we can talk about how can you get through this holiday season with some tangible tools. What are some of your stressors, and how can you work through those? Also, if you're ready and you want to take a deeper dive and you feel like this goes beyond just holiday season and you're like, oh man, I get stuck in this and it's impacting my life at home, it's impacting my performance at work, or I'm just not feeling as effective because I'm constantly worrying and planning, then I'm going to recommend that you hop into the link in the bio and we could hop on a consult call, or you could book your 60-minute emotional evolution session, because we can absolutely shift that. You are in charge of kind of what to bring, and you can shift yourself out of that stress overwhelm mode, and I'm here to help. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.